So this is the part 4 of series of videos for chapter number 9, valuing bonds with embedded options. Now let's look at how to value uh, bonds with other embedded options. So let's look at how to value a puttable bond. So valuing a puttable bond will involve the same kind of logic that we used for valuing a callable bond. Just here, the decision is for the investor whether to put a bond or not, and the rule for the investor is simple. If the bond price is below the put price, the investor will put the bond, right? If the bond price is below the put price. So for example, here, this 97.529 is below the 100. So put price we assumed is 100, is below 100. So we put 100 here, 100 here, but here the same is the price because here the bond will not be put. Investor will not put the bond, right? So the logic is same. We will start from here. This 97.529 is calculated by discounting these two values and taking its average. Here, because we think that investor will put the bond, so we put 100 value here. And when we calculate this 99.528, we use these 200 and 100, these 200 values, and discount them back at 7.0053 to obtain value of 99.528, and so on, right? So we use the values indicated. We use the put price. If that put price is above this value, so we actually use in calculating these values at nodes, we use these second values whatever they are, right? So it's straightforward to value a puttable bond if we know and understand the logic of valuing the bond. Again, the value of a puttable bond will be value of an option free bond plus the value of the put option. Unlike the callable bond, the value of puttable bond increases if assumed volatility increases. Why? Because the volatility will increase the chances for investors to put the bond back to the issuer. Suppose that bond in both puttable and callable, then the procedure for valuing such a structure is to adjust the value at each node to reflect whether the issue would be put or called. So a bond can be both puttable and callable, and in order to value that, we have to look at this particular valuation tree. Here we consider that either bond is both puttable and callable, and again you can see this upper part is when the bond is here, and here the bond is puttable, and here it is callable, right? So whenever the price is so bond is puttable in year 3 and but is called in callable in series of these price schedule. So the whenever the price will be below the call price, the issuer can call the bond, and whenever the price is whenever the price is below the put price, the investor can put the bond, and whenever the price is above the call price, issuer can call the bond. So like here, and here, right? The logic is same, right? Only you have to focus on where whether the bond will be put by the investor or called by the issuer. First, given the valuation from the backward induction method at a node, so I'm explaining how to do this. The call rule is invoked to determine whether the issue will be called. If it is called, the value at the node is replaced by the call price. The valuation procedure then continues using the call price at the node. Second, if the call option is not exercised at the node, it must be determined whether or not the put option is exercised. So first we look for a call option, If call option is exercised, the value here is replaced by the call price, just like here. So if it is not, value remain the same. But then we have to go to the put option and see whether the put option will be exercised or not, right? And the procedure continues. Let's talk about also about valuing step up callable node. Step up callable nodes are called instruments whose coupon rate increase step up at designated times. There can be single step up callable nodes or a multiple stable callable node, right? Single step callable node will be in which only the coupon rate is increased just once, and in multiple coupon rate can be increased for multiple times. Valuing using binomial model is similar to the valuing of a callable bond, except that the cash flows are altered at each node to reflect coupon changing characteristic of step up callable node, right? So this is 4.2% for year 1 and 2, and then 7.5% for year 3 and 4. So 4.25% and 7.5%. Just that, and all other characteristics of this remains the same. Right. So here there is no call option. We are just valuing a simple step up node. This is will be an option free bond. Just you have to consider that these coupon rates are different for these 2 years and these 2 years. Rest of the process will remain the same. Again, we can easily include the concept of a call option, concept of a call option in this bond. Again, what we need to do is just put the call price whenever the calculated value exceeds the call value or the call price. Call price is 100. So here it's the price, 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 but here the call value 100 is put, because here it is assumed that the bond can be called. Why? Because the calculated value is above the call value. So this is how to value. Again, this can be shown that all other procedures we discuss remain the same. So what I mean by this is that this value here is calculated by the taking average of present value of this and present value of this. So the present value of this and this at this rate divided by 2, right? Okay. Let's discuss now a capped floater. What we mean by a capped floater is bond floating rate bond. So a floating rate bond is a bond which is coupon depend on a floating interest rate. And remember that in a floating rate bond, the rate used indicated here is used to pay interest at the next time period, right? So the interest rate indicated here is used to pay coupon at this year, right? And so how we calculated 100 here? So 100 divided by 100, sorry, 100 plus the coupon payment, which will be this 9.1987 divided by or the discounted back at this interest rate. So the value will be 100 plus this value will also be the 100, and then divided by 2. Interestingly, you can see that you will get always you will get the value of 100, and it's very pretty straightforward to value this one. The things for the cap floater is that you cap upper limit. You put an upper limit on the coupon payment. So for example, if it's 7.25, so rates cannot go beyond 7.25. So here it's a floating rate, but here because this rate is higher, so it's 7.25, 7.25, 6.16, 5.00, right? Now here the prices will change, because 100 plus Copen is 7.25, but we are discounting it back at 9.91 at 7%. Similarly here, it's 100 plus 7.25, but we are discounting back at 7.5312. Rest of the process will remain same, and we can ascertain that the value of this capped floater is 99.724. uh, I think that's all in this video. Thank you.